guys, this is Shannon with Black Sheep House. In today's video, we're making over this vintage mahogany chest in a foolproof painting things black method that I am happy to share with you guys. I'm excited to share with you guys. If you've ever struggled with black, even using methods from my channel, I promise you this is the easiest, most foolproof method that I have found to date to paint things black. I'm super excited to share it with you. Let's get started with this makeover. First things first, the hardware, I know I love to change hardware, but this hardware is called a White, and it's actually very on trend for the moment, as is painting furniture black. Furniture that is black is very in demand right now, so it's definitely a finish that you want to master. I'm also going to be sharing in this video a flooring hack if you stage furniture and sell it that you're going to want to see, and I'm sharing how to wash my brushes. Oh, I'm also sharing I'm using Walmart brushes and a foam roller for the first time, so I'll let you guys know my opinions on that. First thing we need to do is get this dresser nice and clean. No, you don't need to sand it, but you do need to thoroughly clean your piece. I am leaving all the dents and dings because it doesn't have that many. It just has the perfect amount for character. Character is also in style, and people want a furniture piece that looks like it's lived in, it looks vintage, and that's what we're going for in this look. I don't know if there's a formal name for this type of method, but I learned it on the streets because there's not really any literature on this online. And I'm going to call it the brush on and roll method. Brush and roll, baby. Basically, you just want to brush it on with your paintbrush and then roll it with a dry foam roller. I use one foam roller per coat of paint. So I will use one foam roller that is dry to start for this entire coat of paint on this dresser, and then I will replace it with a new foam roller for the next application or the next coat of paint. I like using this oil enriched enamel by Valspar because it dries slower. A slower drying paint is really going to help you a lot when you're going for a nice smooth black finish. The slower the paint dries though, the more likely debris is to fall in your finish, and that's why I'm working with the drawers in. With the drawers facing this way, they are less likely to have debris fall in them, and therefore I'm going to have a smoother finish. You don't have to worry about drips or anything like that with this method because again, we're going for nice thin layers of paint, nice thin coats. Even with the brush, I'm not glopping a ton of paint on there. If I do that, then I'm going to get a lot of texture and I'm going to get a lot of bubbles in my finish. Speaking of bubbles, if you do notice that you have bubbles in your finish, number one, you need to go lighter with the paint the next time, but you can just keep rolling the roller over top of it, or even swap out and get a fresh dry foam roller and try to absorb some of the paint, because if you have bubbles in your finish, chances are you've got too much paint on there. So you can do the foam roller as many times as you need, but you want the entire section that you're working on. For instance, the drawer is my section right now. I want that whole section to be shiny and still wet by the time I get done. If any part of it has dried by the time I'm done and I'm still rolling, then I run the risk of having some streaks. Of paint, I do go ahead and wash my foam roller. I use a fresh one that's completely dry for the next coat of paint, but I do recycle and reuse all the foam rollers many times. Here's how I clean my brushes and foam rollers. I just use water and Dawn dish soap or Palmolive, or even hair shampoo works really well, and I'll just get a cup and kind of squish it around in there, and then I'll try to let gravity do its work and let the paint drip out of the brush with it pointing down. And then I'll spin, again using gravity to, and centrifugal force, I guess, right? to spin all the paint out of the brush. That's a contractor special. And then cupping my hands to fill the brush with water. That is how I clean my brush. And the foam roller, just squeezing. Same thing, using the Dawn dish soap and squeezing, and then I'll just lay everything on a paper towel to dry. Works pretty easily. Kind of messy. It's nice to have a deep sink. I'm lucky in that respect. You might want to do yours in the bathtub or something if you have a really shallow sink. And voila, nice and clean. Okay, so here is the update to painting things black that I have added to my routine, and that is using the Valspar Furniture and Cabinet Oil Enriched Enamel for the first 2 or 3 coats, and then on the last coat of paint, I will mix half clear coat by Varathane polyurethane matte finish with this paint. and you have to stir really well and even continue stirring throughout your project for the last coat of paint. But that is what I have found gives me that nice matte finish, and then the water-based polyurethane gives it cures within 24 hours, and so it gives it a little bit more durability while it's still curing, so that I can move it around in my garage, or if people are coming to pick it up and transport it, and I don't have to stress about it being so vulnerable before it's fully cured. But then by the time it fully cures, man, it is a rock solid finish that you could scrub, and you could throw a set of keys on top of this thing. It is really going to be durable, long lasting furniture for your clients or for yourself. You're going to be like so impressed and in love with this. I cannot vouch for this enough. Using the Valspar oil enriched enamel on the first 2 or 3 coats, and then on the last coat using this mixture of half matte polyurethane, water-based of course, and then the oil enriched enamel. So it's such a dynamite combination. I always give some touch-up paint to my clients or to the designers that I work with. I know I mentioned working with decorators and designers on the last video. That's such a great idea for you guys. Just, on your local circuits, on your Nextdoor app, friends and family, or you could even find them on Instagram and just reach out. Designers really need people like us to give them these pieces and to make over pieces of furniture for their clients. It's really a great gig. Okay, so I apply this. The application method is the exact same. Paint on and then roll. Again, using a nice clean roller and a clean paintbrush is key. And then many of you, I'm sure, will wonder if you can sand in between coats. And the answer is kind of. Again, the oil-based enamel cures very slowly, and so it's not super sandable, but I do sand with a high grit sanding sponge very lightly before my last coat. I didn't show that in the video, but I generally do that, and I'm sure I did it on this piece. It's just I didn't catch it on video. But a 400 grit sanding sponge, super lightly all over, just to remove any like bug that fell in it or piece of paint like that was globbed up, something along those lines. I wanted to show what I think is most likely to happen to newer people. You go back and you notice you had one little spot that had a mistake on it, and you think you can go back and just brush that one spot. But the thing that you really want to do to avoid any streaks on your piece is just to go and treat it like a section and fix the whole drawer. Repaint the whole drawer if you notice a streak on one spot. So I'm going to go back with my brush, the same application method that I did for my last coat of paint with the clear coat mixed in. I'm going to go back, paint it all, and I still had some paint mixed up and left over, and so it's super easy to just paint it and then brush it, and then I'll move on and I'll have a flawless piece. Don't worry if you can see those roller marks. As long as the whole thing is wet when you are done with that section, you will be in good shape, okay? Don't panic. Don't go back and mess with it. Just leave it. As long as it's all wet, you know you're in good shape. Okay, I have a tip for you if you stuck around till the end. I got these for $5 a box off Facebook Marketplace, just some old click together flooring that happened to be real wood on the underside. So while the real side was outdated or just not the style I'm going for, that underside happened to be a beautiful light wood. Of course, there's some stamps on it that I can sand out, but I didn't even bother, and it's beautiful for my staging area. I love it. I hope this video was valuable for you, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!